Flip it. Right, all right, all right. right.
What's happening? What's happening?
We're in the game. Another good one coming up here. Get myself set up on this
Yeah,
new
I'm excited
phone.
about it. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. So tonight's topic, very simple, but a lot of controversy. Talking to some people about this, and that is
Uh-oh. You said it's
date.
controversial? Uh-oh.
I think it is because a lot of people think they really got it going on, and they offering the best of the best, and that ain't always the case. And
Well,
so,
controversy sells, so that's a good thing.
right. So our topic for today is dating death traps.
Okay.
Are you writing your
Elaborate.
checks
What you
that
mean
your
by that?
ass can't cash? So what I mean is, people are out here asking and demanding a lot from people, and they're not offering it, and they end up draining you, taking from you, taking your resources. Then once they get to a certain point, they usually hit the road.
Uh-oh.
They truly don't want you.
Okay.
So that's the thing. If people not come in, as the Christians like to say, of equally yoked, that closing that gap can cause a lot of problems. You're telling people get burned out,
Right.
overused. So that is the thing. So what do you think when you hear dating death traps,
I
writing a
mean,
check that their ass can't cash?
it's broad. I don't know specifically what you mean. A lot of things come to mind. A death trap could be, dating and having multiple children by multiple people who are problematic. That could be a death trap. A death trap could be, dating a man that's pretty much a bum and has nothing going for him. And, that could be a death trap. Or dating somebody that's a gold digger, that don't really like you for you, but what you could do for them. It's a bunch of things that come to mind when I hear that, man. And you said writing the check that your ass can't cash. That's that's an interesting extension of that. Um, I don't know, man. I mean, a lot of people write checks that they can't cash. They say a lot of things going into relationships that I don't know if they necessarily are capable of or possess, but it sounds good, man. We selling dreams out here, baby. We selling dreams out here.
Yeah, that's true. So I would say definitely that hits some of the points here. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Where you do have people that are trying to take advantage of you. Everybody isn't generally looking at you and saying that's a good man, a good woman. I can learn and grow from them. Some people looking like that's a good man, that's a good woman. I'm about to milk that cow and I ain't buying it. I'm about to get everything that I possibly can up out of him. And hey, whatever happens,
So
when it fails,
what
it
you
fails.
saying is that there's people out here hunting, searching for people that they can take advantage of.
100%. A
Do
hundred
you think
percent
that's
is the
more
case.
common in the younger age groups, the older age groups? Who are you talking about? Who's your target audience when you say that they out here hunting?
It depends. See, that is difficult to say a target because people's upbringing affects a lot of that. Sometimes what you may have seen your mother or father doing growing up will make you think that some of those behaviors and mannerisms are acceptable, and they're really not. You could have seen your father just playing women all day and getting them money, doing what he want to do with them. Then when they get upset, he's like, I never claimed you. I never asked you to do this. Vice versa with a mother. You
Papa
know,
was a
get
player. The player wasn't Papa. Papa loved the ladies. Go ahead.
Hey, look, that is true. You got that happens on both sides. You have males and females that definitely take advantage and manipulate the opposite sex, and they make that a standard. You see people preaching and teaching a lot of things to their children that are not really conducive to having a healthy, strong, and stable relationship because you're not even looking at it from the aspect of we're going to go somewhere, we're going to reach some new heights, we're going to build together. You like I'm gonna take for them till I can't take no more, and then when they kick me off the ship, whatever I got, I got.
So that's the death traps you was talking about. That's some of the death traps you was talking about. Are there any other ones? What are some more
So
that you could think of? All right, we got the gold diggers. We got the terrible upbringings. What's some other ones you could think of? I got a
now
good one for you. I got a good one for you.
you got a good one for me, but let's take it to the next level, right? So now you have the people where they've had bad experiences. Maybe they were good people.
Hmm.
They've had bad experiences, so now they're on this pain train of revenge. They're willing
Could
to
be tainted.
a man who got taken advantage by too many women trying to help build and grow to him, and now he's on the train where I'm out
Destroying
here.
everything.
I'm destroying everything. I'm out here. I'm gonna take from everybody. I'm gonna manipulate and take advantage of them and get them wrapped around my finger, getting me buy them all the
City
shoes.
boy lifestyle, right?
Yeah,
You
city
seen
boy,
that on
city girl
Instagram,
lifestyle.
City
Yeah,
Boys?
pain does change people. Pain. Let me write. I like the way that says pain does change people. Yeah, I like that. And
That's
and
pretty
and
basic,
that's
bro. That ain't. I mean, you ain't go too hard on that one. That's light.
I ain't go too hard with that. You're right, but
That's light.
it's like when you don't really pay attention, when you have these issues, and if we go back to basic math, what's the common denominator? You. But instead of evaluating yourself, a lot of people have developed a victim mentality, and they point the finger at, they took advantage of me, they were users, they were this, these women from this area, these men from this community, this race of people, this income of people. So we start developing these extremely toxic levels, counterproductive levels of prejudice based on our dating, instead of realizing, did I make the right choices? Did I lead too much of my money, too much of my career, too much of what I could provide, too much of my body? You set the tone for relationships, friends, family, and partners. And a lot of people don't understand that your mannerisms when you first meet people can become a problem. There's men and women who've complained about, the biggest one right now. When I stopped calling people, I noticed my phone wasn't ringing. Well, what if you set the relationship up like that? You always was the one calling 2-3 times a day. You always was the one sending out the group text.
You know how common that is. I hear that. I hear that a lot, man. Well,
That's
I
on.
ain't
That's
calling you
true.
because you don't call me. I don't know. I think
That's true.
that's a more recent development. It ain't used to be like that. We used to call each other, simultaneously, or back and forth, I should say, all the
Right.
time. But now it's like, hey, if you're not calling me, then F it. I ain't gonna call you, and we just ain't gonna talk. By the
Exactly.
way, you said the common denominator. There's a lot of people out there that didn't do good at math, so I don't know if they know what the common denominator being them might mean. You got a lot of GED babies out there, so I don't know if they. You got to be more clear when you say stuff like that.
Common denominator is that has to deal with fractions. So the bottom base number has to line up. The top number
You
is
got
always
real
a different.
technical. You got real technical.
Hey,
Jesus.
look, I'm just saying, you always at the base, and there's always somebody different on your platform. But at the end of the day, you line it up. Who's always at the bottom? You. And you keep putting people on top, just messing everything up. So you need to, what's that? Your vetting process, your discernment. That,
Yeah.
and this is the problem with victim mentality. You don't develop discernment or better vetting processes because you classify something as a waste. And as we all know, if something's a waste, we throw it all out. Somebody messed up the food at the restaurant, you don't take the mashed potatoes or the broccoli or the side off. You tell them remake the whole plate. So therefore, you can't take anything out of that could be of substance for the next time. So if I say, yeah, if I say I wasted 6 months with that girl, wasted my time, I could have been somebody else. I could have good one for her, blah, 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 blah. You
Yeah.
didn't learn nothing from that experience. And guess what? You can get another one of her.
Well, that's
You
that's
can
just
get
that's just it. You're supposed to learn something from everybody that you encounter. It don't matter who it is. It could be the bum on the street or the executive at your company. You should
right.
be able to learn something. So if you having countless relationships with different people and you're not taking anything away, which by the way that's normal. Most people ain't learning nothing. They walk away saying, "Hey, it ain't me. It's you. You're the problem." And they don't never learn nothing, but they repeat the same problems all over again. So hopefully, I don't know how you change that though, to be honest with you, man. You can't make people learn from bad experiences. So, what do you do about that, man? Just go with the flow, right? Gotta
You got no choice.
keep searching for different people. Hopefully you'll encounter somebody that learned some lessons that grew a little bit, and then they'll be a good match for you. But most of the fish in the sea out here they down bad, man.
Catching guppies, man. I'm little minnows. They
They
ain't
be the
feeding
ones you
nobody.
catch them and then you throw them back. Get that out of here.
Yeah, how could you change that? Well, you can give people time. You can give people a little bit of time. You give people a little bit of play, like, talk to them about some of their issues with their dating. Like, hey, did you ever think about this? So that's part of the intro vetting dating process, maybe in the first couple of weeks or month. You know, we have those intimate conversations. Some stuff is on the surface, some stuff get deep. And see where somebody's mindset at. See if they've changed, if they've thought about things, you know, give them some input. And if they're just blaming, then you know you can't do anything with that.
So
And
another death trap is the deception, right? Because you could be the most thorough vetter out there. Is that a word? Vetterer.
uh, you can be the most thorough
You could be the
and
most thorough investigator out there, right?
investigate. There we go.
There you go.
There
You
we
could be the
go.
most thorough investigator out there, but if somebody is deceptive, if somebody is misleading, you know, and we know everybody puts on their mask for you in the first 6 months to a year. They send a representative. So everybody to a certain extent is skilled at this deception, but some people are better than others. So you could be the most thorough investigator and still fall victim to that deception, that face that they put on, that they just waiting for y'all both to get comfortable so they could take it off and you see the real them and it's like, oh. So that's a death trap too, you know, deception, man. That's one that we all dealing with. It's a big deal, that one. Because that
Again,
will kill everything. Once the deception is discovered, there's a 50 Cent line. He said, I hate a liar worse than I hate a thief. A thief is only after my salary. A liar is after my reality. I never forgot that line because that statement is so powerful. A liar is after my reality. You talking about a death trap? That'll kill everything. If either party is lying, that'll kill everything. That's 100% a death trap.
almost like you being conned, you know?
Yep.
You
That's
know, like
exactly
you
what it
really
is,
being
man.
conned. Somebody's really playing this role, and it's like you don't. Yeah, that one that is difficult. I will admit that. And if you really think about it, you have to be mindful of how much you give up and put up in the beginning as well to try to
Mhm.
save yourself from the amount of rebounds. For example, I saw a post today. Somebody said if we're dating, if it said dating me, then it said if you're not talking about investments and rental properties, I don't got time for it. I said that's for a spouse. You do not get financially intertwined with somebody in the dating stage, and that's really
Right.
6 months to a
Right.
year. You know, even moving in can be a big deal because by the law, you cannot just kick somebody out your house.
Yeah, that's a
They've been
fact.
over there. I think if they stayed there over 30 days, there you have to go through a process. I remember seeing one where this family was trying to get
Eviction
their
process.
son, eviction process. They had one where his parents were trying to get their grown son out the house. They had to go through a whole process,
Right. Right.
wouldn't put them out. So that is a real thing. You could be stuck with a death trap of a psychotic roommate that was once your lover.
Yo, by the way, never move in with a woman. If you a man, never move in with a woman. She always needs to move in with you. Cause you know when things go wrong, it's you gotta get up out of here. And if it's
Yeah,
your spot, if it's your home, then you can stay and they just go. So that's a piece of advice to anybody watching. If you needed that jewel right there, I just dropped it on you.
don't move in. Don't with cell phones, cars, none of that, huh? All got to be in your
Yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
don't want to start. I think you make a good point, right? Like, we do. I think people today. I won't say we because I'm not we. But people today, they go about relationships in a way where they be fully invested from the very beginning, right? Or not. I won't say from the beginning, but early on, doing things, intertwining things. And how many relationships really have longevity these days? Most people is not getting married, so you know,
Yeah.
that's really a risk that you can't afford to take as a man or a woman to invest in somebody too heavily without a clear understanding. And this is the key, a clear understanding of where y'all are going. A lot of people be talking for years. A lot of people just be dating for years. No clear understanding. You ask the woman, like, does he want to marry you? She's like, I think so. Like, yo, you live with this dude 24 hours a day. You don't know. You don't have a specific answer. So that's not a good thing. Intertwining finances, living together, all of that stuff. But you know, people gonna say we old school or we outdated. That stuff don't apply no more. But Save yourself a lot of heartache and pain.
I mean, I get everybody doesn't have the financial stability, and two people working 10, 12, 15 bucks an hour moving in together can't have opportunities to grow and build.
That
So
two
I
income
understand where,
household.
yeah, I understand where some people it is feasible, but the financials is still the number one killer. So it's still need to be mindful. We're moving in for the financial stability.
Mhm.
What we need to map out a plan. Is somebody getting a certification? Somebody getting educated? So what are we going to do to move up? Because obviously,
How about how
two.
about how about we start with a plan like how much are our expenses every month? How
Yeah,
much is our take home after we pay taxes? What's the difference between the two? How much disposable we got, and what can we do with that disposable income for the next 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months to push us forward? How about we start with that?
right. A full blown financial plan that we've met each other young, working on some things. Even it's possible old people. I just left a factory job, and there's people in their 30s and 40s making less than 20 bucks an hour. And it's sustainable. Columbus, Ohio does have a low market for cost of living, though we got a lot of people flooding in from California and Texas and different places.
Hmm.
But
They coming
still.
in for that cheap cost of living right there.
Yeah, it is a thing, but still, that's still low. You
Right.
still can't. You don't have a lot of breather room. You don't really have a lot of money to put towards a Roth IRA, saving up for a rental property. You're living possibly check by check. So if you're
For
going to
sure.
move in for financial,
Especially if you're not financially disciplined, you damn sure living check to check.
right? And that was a big debate I had on this group page on Facebook about all that compatibility and stuff, and I had a lot of people pushing back. Well, not a lot. It's probably about three or four versus the 200 plus comments I had. It was a lot. And when I tell people, I said none of that other stuff matters because when it all boils down to the number one killer for relationships and marriages is money. All these other things go on and happen. Cheating, people have extra kids outside the marriage, abuse, fighting, loss of houses, people crash cars, DUIs, everything happens. All of this chaos that can happen and possibly cause a relationship to fail, and money is still the number one. So I had a lot of pushback. I was told I was being tactless and I don't have the right vision. But if a woman, and this goes for men and too, if a man or woman isn't trying to focus or isn't understanding the concept that if we focus on our financials in the beginning, we can eliminate the number one biggest threat to our longevity. There isn't much to want to know past that. You don't want to kill the biggest threat to your life, and you can legally, safely eliminate this within a year or two if you guys stick to a plan.
So
What else? What
talk
is
to me
there to
about
do?
what that looks like though. You saying if you put together a plan, you can kill probably the number one cause of failed relationships and marriages, which is finances, right? What does that look like though? Because somebody watching this, they don't got no experience with that. Maybe you could help them out, tell them like what that looks like, how you go about doing it. I kind of touched on it a little bit already, but
Right, you did.
yeah,
So we got the basics, like you said. How much money are you bringing in a month? Are you getting paid? Your whatever your pay schedule is, right? And
because
you can map out a whole year.
everybody think that before tax number is what they making. No, 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 no. Once you pay the three-letter gang, that IRS, your take home is a whole lot lower. So go
Health
ahead.
insurance,
Yeah,
having the basics. I always pay for the death and disability.
right.
Excuse me. I always had that 20, usually somewhere between like 20 to $50,000. I pay that extra. But yeah, your first step is what all do I pay a month? How much does it all add up to a month? And then what am I bringing in? Like you said, and notice your expenses versus your income, subtract it and see what you got left.
Yeah, that's
From
that
there,
disposable income.
right. So what is left? And then you got the disposable. You still got, now you need to set numbers that adjust. Gas in your vehicle that adjusts every month. Food adjusts every month. What else? You probably want to cut out entertainment. So
Grooming,
everything,
entertainment, all
room,
that stuff. But the
different
thing
things.
about it is this. I don't think that that's necessarily a death trap because I think there's ways to avoid falling into the hole of uh, having financial issues. There's ways to avoid that. Now, whether or not people choose to utilize them ways, that's a whole nother story. But that don't have to be a death trap simply because guess what? You can avoid it if you take the time, you apply yourself to doing it. I think you can avoid that one. So I don't think that one is really necessarily a death trap.
Financial instability
Well,
or
I think it's a
financial?
big deal. I think it's a big deal. I think it's something that, as we agree, is probably going to kill a lot of relationships and has done in the past. But I don't think it has to be a death trap. I think that's one of those things that's easily avoidable. It's like you see the sign coming from a mile away, right? And you in that train moving real slow. And you like, move out of the way. You can see it coming, but you're going super slow. It's one of them things that you can avoid if you start preparing for it far enough in advance that you don't slam into that wall at some point. So maybe that's
So you
not
saying that's
necessarily a
in
death
a
trap.
relationship? Are you saying that's in a relationship or before you get with somebody,
No, no,
you
no.
should
You got to
prepare?
be in a relationship with somebody before you're talking about money with them, before you're talking about intertwining money and making plans. I'm saying that a death trap, that don't necessarily have to be a death trap to somebody's relationship once they're in it, if they take the appropriate steps while the train is all the way back here 50 feet away from the wall, you know?
So you wouldn't take it into consideration if you went on a date with a woman, you was dating her, you realize she spends a lot of money on her appearance.
I'm out of there, bro. I'm going to the bathroom. Leave. Nah, I ain't. I'm gonna do the what's the Tinder guy? What's the Tinder data? I'm gonna pull one of his moves. Go to the
What do you
bathroom
do?
like I'll be right back, and then
Oh,
break out. Nah,
break
I
out.
don't do that type of stuff. But what was
You
the
don't have to
question
work
though?
on a date. But what I'm saying is the prerequisite. If you're dating somebody who likes to live a lavish, let's say you're a conservative man, you save money,
Which I
you
am.
live wisely. Right, you're a conservative man. Would you, if you was going on a date and a woman, like I said, you don't have to know every detail of her money, right? But if you have a gist of
You
where
can
she
tell.
works at,
Yeah, you can
huh?
tell.
You
You
can
can
tell, but
tell.
yeah, just to her career field, and then you see how she's spending money. You're like, that's not going to line up for me in the future. I don't want to be
The Tinder
decked out.
swindler is his name. The Tinder swindler.
Just
I'm gonna pull
I
a
gotta
Tinder
look at
swindler.
it. Just leave her with the bill and everything. She's gonna be texting you, blowing your phone up, social media posts, and she
Yeah.
emailing you
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, yo, somebody like that, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. At the stage that I'm at in my life now, somebody like that, once I see the signs that you are bad with money, for me, that's a death trap in and of
Right,
itself before we in a relationship. That's a sign to me
right.
where I'm like, nah, I'm good. I can't mess with that because as you said, I am conservative with my money. I do plan for things, I invest, and I can't bring somebody in, as you said, with those type of people, I'm here for a short time. What is it? I'm not here
I'm
for a
here for
long
a good
time. I'm here
time,
for a
not a
good
long
time.
time.
Yeah,
I'm here
that's
for a good time, not a long time.
you would have to
Yeah,
be restricted to a good time, not a long time, because I can't work with that. You know what I'm saying? I need
absolutely.
somebody that I could build something with. And if you constantly taking out the pot, we can't build nothing together, you know?
And that was a big debate that I was going back and forth, and it wasn't getting clear to a lot of women in the discussion group that I'm not going to worry about compatibility, what we like, hobbies, interests, and passions and goals. Because if you like to spend money, up
Can't
jump,
even
and I
get
know
past that.
that. There's nothing for me to spend months to learn you and figure you out because the killer is you gonna come in the house and I tell people there's only two type of people when you date. You got somebody who's going to move in with you and see we got more money to build, grow, and invest and retire early, or you got
Right.
somebody who's going to move in with you, and this goes male or female, and they're like, oh, we got more money, so we get to have more fun.
Living
We
my
get to
best
go
life.
shop. That's all you get is two people. I tell people that's all there is.
Right.
And if that you want to wait till you move in and find out that your man or woman out here, you came like, oh, baby, I just went and bought this new TV. I got us matching shoes. I got extra $800 now that we living together. No, you don't.
Yo,
You don't. So
I'm gonna have to pull a Jazz and Fresh Prince straight out the door. You out of here.
you got to,
You
they got,
out of here.
hey, look, within the first, a couple of days, right? You got to figure that one out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm on the lookout as it is, man. I'm
Right.
always on the lookout.
Right. So, yes, we talked about, being a common denominator, deception, misleading, paying change people. So with the whole now we get to another part of the writing a check that you can't cash, right? So what
Mhm.
that means is you want something that you may not be able to sustain or maintain. So you're not a bad person, not a bad woman, but that person's lifestyle or some of the things they're doing, you can't keep up with. So that gap can
But
cause
like what though?
conflict.
I'm not clear on what you mean. Like what?
Okay, perfect example, right? If I'm overweight, right? If I want to get with somebody who's heavy into fitness, a fitness trainer, anything in that nature, right? I I should have a concept that I know if I get with this person, I can't be coming to the house with a bunch of snacks. I
They're
can't
gonna
be
be
trying
looking
to
at you
take them to eat
sideways.
garbage. Right. They be gonna look, I'm like, yo, you know what I'm into, what I'm doing. You're derailing my path, my vision, my purpose in life. And a lot of times people may want that because they're trying to get support, but the thing is, it's such a massive contrast to your current lifestyle, your current situation, your current choices that can cause problems. You may get
Mhm.
annoyed with meal preps. You may get annoyed with egg
I
whites
get annoyed with
and
all that
turkey
stuff,
sausage.
man.
Right? You
I
may
get
get annoyed
annoyed
with
with
that.
all that.
So the fitness is the easiest one to throw out there because a heavy set person who isn't already on that path and you going, I want to get in shape. Let me go try
So
to
you trying to tell me Lizzo don't got no hope at getting a bodybuilder?
I mean, if she's already on a plan and showing improvement, that's a different story. But if you just straight up, man, I got to get my life together. I'm out of shape. Let me try to, as we mentioned, be deceptive and manipulate somebody who's in the fitness and sell them that I'm in it, knowing I'm not.
Yeah,
And
man.
once I get into it, I start like, you just blow up. I'm sick of this meal prep. I'm sick. You eating this bullshit. I
Bro,
eat
I'm
no
in shape. I'm in
broccoli.
shape, and I'm sick of that stuff. So I know somebody that ain't gonna keep up with it. They not
Right.
sticking to the plan, man.
So that is the easiest one. Then we also can talk about people who anything else want to get their finances together, want to get retirement together, want to gain parts of their lives, and instead of starting on their own and getting it, and then so you can show work, they just straight up like, "You're going to coach me, you're going to teach me," but that never really works. So, does that
No,
kind of
hell
make
no.
sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, with that specifically, you can't coach nobody into a mind state that they don't already have, man. I mean, that don't work, man. It don't
Right.
work.
So that's the whole point of the writing the check that your ass can't cash is that you're trying to get with somebody who got something that you want, but you don't have any sort of foundation to get with them. You don't have any sort of pathway to understand what they're already going and doing, and it's going to cause a conflict. It's going to cause strife. You're going to be,
You just described a lot of men and women.
of course, of course. Perfect example. I talked to somebody about this a couple days ago. I told them I don't really date women with children, even though I have one. They said, "Well, why
Here
is
you
that?"
go. Here
Hey,
you
look,
go.
it's about to get bad out here, but I'm gonna be honest. I say, one, men and women don't date the same. So how a woman views a man with a child versus how a man views a woman with a child is drastically different, right? And then two, well, from my personal experience in dating, men typically don't get much say so or opinion when they date a woman with a child or
Hell
more.
no.
You
Hell no.
don't get to say anything, and so therefore, but you end up as a provider, you end up fitting the bill. Three, the lifestyles that some men and women have established with their children may be counterproductive to what you want to do with your existing child or potential future children. Perfect example, as me and you know with our children, my child don't know no rap artists, don't know no rap songs, or know nothing about nobody. Her song is
No Meg Thee Stallions or Cardi
look,
B's.
the Kikachu, the movie I keep watching 5 times a weekend, Vivo, that's as close as a rap song she's getting.
Nice.
And the problem is, and I have nothing, this is people's lifestyle, so I'm not going to fight them, but I'm not going to force you to not have your child listen to rap if that's what you want to do. I'm not going to force you to change, but that's a conflict. My
Mhm.
daughter's not going to listen to that. And if we're going to grow and build together, you already got your child in that. Your child's going to influence my child, and you're going to influence my child, and that's going to be a conflict with me and the person I co-parent with.
So
And that's the big
is
deal.
that a death trap for you? By the way, hold on. you got comments in the comment
Uh-oh.
section. You should reply to. Catch
So
These Hands said, so we're not looking for people to help us be better. I think you got to be in a mindset where you looking to better yourself first before you look for somebody to help you be better. Most people don't have that mentality. And then Hippie Lucas said, can you learn it? You can learn anything you want to learn if you put your time and your energy into it. But how many people is doing that every single day? I think people
right.
do it at different stages in their life. You know what I mean? But everybody ain't gonna be at the same place at the same time. So you just gotta hope you meet that person that's where you at, and y'all got the same mentality, and y'all can learn from each other. That's what I think. That's how I look at it. I'm hoping, that you find somebody that's where you at, that think like you think, and then y'all could build together. But if you find somebody that's spinning bread and you know, breaking necks and cashing checks, you're gonna be in trouble, man.
And if we want to use some words to help break things down, there's a difference between support, help, and assistance. How those things are set up when you're trying to build a relationship with an individual, with a person. So those things can matter. So if I'm already okay, I'm overweight, right? But if I'm already going to the gym 3-4 times a week, I've changed up my eating, so there's no soda in my house. I don't buy any junk food anymore, and I'm taking exercise I maybe go for a walk once a day. If I'm already on a pathway trying to get somewhere, somebody see me putting in my work can
That's
support
usually
me.
what it takes.
Yeah. So you already have to be in motion yourself. You can't be starting ground zero like, oh my God, I ain't never worked out last 2 years. I'm gonna try to manipulate and kind of you mildly are manipulating, deceiving somebody to sell them to get on because you know what they're up to and what they're doing is a massive contrast to who you currently are right now. You're not getting up before work to do a 20-minute a YouTube
I ain't
workout.
doing
You're
that.
not doing it.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
ain't doing
they
that.
spend the night and they do that. You mad because they done woke you up at 5:30 in the morning. They bumped you or something, or you hear the toothbrush in the bathroom.
My,
So
my
that is
gym
the
my
big
gym
thing
time
about
is in
that.
the afternoon. I ain't built for that 5 a.m. life.
And of course, that's circumstantial. Whatever goes on. So, can you learn it? And she said her other point was helping people make better. I only can help you if you are willing to understand and be supportive, be humble, and essentially be submissive and willing to learn. Are you willing to take some criticism from your partner, like, hey, you've been slacking off this week. You went to the gym Monday. You made an excuse for Wednesday, and here it is
I don't know
Friday.
if that's a possibility, man. You ever had good results doing that? Like, hey, look, you fell off this week. You missed the gym. Do you get a positive response? Have you ever had that situation happen where you had to do that? I never
Um,
had that situation happen. I've been
the
told
thing.
like, yo, you fell off a little bit, but I never had to, send that message out.
What that is you have to be mindful of who you're dealing with your partner when you're
You
trying
have to
to.
say it with tact.
You have to say with tact. You have to understand that person is going to be mildly defensive, mildly in denial. They're going to make excuses. They could have had a bad week and they forgot to tell you. You know what? I didn't want to bother you, but my manager been up my ass about this report, and I've been struggling with it. And the other guy's supposed to help me, caught out sick, so I'm doing two people's job, and that's why I didn't go.
Yo, I ain't
So
gonna
you
lie
have to
to
be
you. I ain't
mindful.
gonna lie to you. That's a death trap for me. If you out of shape, bro, I can't do nothing with it.
And I can understand it.
I ain't
You
about
you
that life. You don't gotta be a
you built
fitness
yourself.
model, but if you just let yourself go, I'm a head out.
Right, and that is a contrast of lifestyle, no different than somebody who likes to drink a lot and somebody who only drinks occasionally or on special events or occasions. Those two people are going to have a conflict in lifestyle. So that's the word I really want to use is a conflict. The next part I really want to get into is a conflict in lifestyle and interest. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that is getting we touched on some basics of money and fitness and childbearing and child rearing as well, but a conflict in lifestyle of interest is when two people who are trying to come together have a completely different offset paths of their future and their goals. So what can we hit on that you may think of, right? Religion is the biggest one. That's one of the things. If you're
Yo, are
in a
people still
church.
religious today though? Like most people out here, they say I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. I don't even know what that means. But are people even religious still? I mean, I know you got a small subculture of people that There's still Christians, small subculture of people that's Muslims. But I hear this spirituality thing, bro. I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. But I think
That's
you're
a
right. I
real
mean, the difference
thing.
in religious backgrounds is that's a problem.
That can be a problem. A difference
That's a
in
big problem.
childbearing. You know, what do you want to go public versus private school? How many children you want? Raising them.
I'm a
If
private
you
school all day.
right, do you support the rap? You want your kids in rap culture and 30? You want your kids in this other side? You know, science, whatever program, and you know, whatever type of educational program is in career fields you want to project on them. Instruments, sports, blah blah blah. Those things can cause major conflicts. You touch on another one, alcohol. There's nothing wrong with it, and as anything, you could like donuts, but you can't eat donuts every day, 5 donuts, 6 donuts a day, right? In moderation.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
somebody's a heavy drinker, that can cause conflict because their mental stability can be off a
Mm.
lot. Okay. Family structures can be a big one as far as the
Yeah, that's a big
dynamic with.
problem.
Yeah,
You know, when you come
yeah,
from a certain background and you got a certain family structure and way of doing things, the way you communicate, and then you bring somebody in who can't relate to that, it's dramatically different. That's always going to be a problem because you know once the family get involved, get in the middle of things, it's not much you could do from that point on, man. So I think that's a big one too. Family structure, upbringing, those things are very big deals because they
yeah.
are bound to rear their ugly head at some point.
Oh yeah. You know, people may not like that you got your mother's or father's opinion on something that you guys may have had a discussion on. And like, hey, these people have 30, 40 years in the game. Me and you are brand new. While they taught and showed me some things, they are a reliable, credible source to lean on. Just like if I
Yo,
was a
I
they
don't think so. I'm gonna
you
have
don't think
to.
so?
Hell no, man. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Sometimes someone's experience could outweigh your experience, but it's still unique to them as an individual and it might not be applicable to you. I had somebody who been in a relationship for a very long time give me some advice and I walked away like, yo, I ain't listening to that shit. I don't know what you talking about, but I ain't taking that advice. And they had way more experience than I do. So I don't think it's always solid advice just because they might have a long relationship or something. Sometimes some of these people be out here, they be biased, they be giving you bad information. So
Of course.
I don't believe that.
It definitely you definitely have to have discernment and understanding of just being respectful in the conversation and as the old folks say, eat the fish and spit out the bones. You have to take A and B and come up with C, and that's what fits for your particular situation. We got another comment here. It says, or completely walked away from your family values. That is a thing. Sometimes we do have, while this whole point we started this podcast and these discussions is some of us do have a twisted, toxic reality where our families have normalized chaos. I always use the example being a rideshare driver where a girl's on the phone talking about one of her nieces and she got slapped up and she said, I told her about getting smart with that man. I don't know what she was thinking he was gonna take me to that. He done knocked her up. She all her, you know, she got a knot on her head, something about a cut on her face. She said, and she like, that's her fault. Like that shouldn't be a thing that whatever that woman said, she got assaulted for her verbal abuse,
Mm.
and you're just on the phone talking to another relative or friend about it, and you're just like casual, like, yeah, that's what she get, you know. So
I kind
what
of
she's
took that a
saying is
little bit
correct.
different though. Completely walked away from your family values. I took that like let's say you grew up in a two-parent household or you grew up in a household where maybe you only had one of your parents, but it was a good household. They, gave you opportunities to do things with your life. And then you go away to college or you graduate from high school and then you become a drug dealer or you out here doing illegal shit all the time, just because you can. That's how I took that one right there. Is like, you completely walk away from that and do something dramatically different that you weren't raised to do. Because we all heard that you wasn't raised to do this. So it's stuff like that. That's what came to mind when I read that comment right there.
Yeah, yeah, I could definitely see and read it back, or you completely walk away from your family's values. I would say the values come down to all types of mannerisms that are acceptable. So you
Yo,
could talk about where it's
I can't
normalized
tell
to
you
be
how many
pushing anything.
gangbangers grew up in church, bro. How many dudes that's in gangs, that's running the streets, that grew up in church. So they walked away from their family's values to a certain extent, I guess.
And it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing when you talk to somebody
Yeah,
about it.
depending on what the
You know,
values are, I guess.
yeah, is there some if there's some structure you want to go around, travel the country, be a starving artist and sell art? I mean, sure, whatever, your pursuit of happiness, whatever floats your boat. But that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. And those family boundaries are important. So I think that was one thing I kind of messed up on my last relationships was if your partner has a structure and they separated from their family, I think we need to be mindful to respect that person has grew up with those parents, those siblings, aunties, uncles, and if they have talked to you about why they don't come around, why they don't speak to them, why they don't, if you date a man or woman with children, why they don't bring them around, that is a very important thing that we need to respect that our partner's boundaries. They may tell us more information in due time, but we should not push and probe and, well, let me meet your mom. Let me go meet them. They can't be that bad. We need to respect it because there are some people have there's a lot of trauma growing up in America, growing up black in America, growing up in inner cities, growing up with depending on the generation, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. There's some bad things, some bad side effects. So we need to just be like, when you let me know when we got time, when if you ever want me to meet them and
By
call
the
it a
way,
day.
I've never asked a woman to meet her parents. I've never asked her. They've asked me, but
Mhm.
I've never asked them. That's never something that I'm like, I need to meet your parents because obviously in my younger days, I wasn't really about that relationship uh, leading into something productive life. It wasn't until I got into my 30s that I really was like, yeah, marriage and all of that. So I never asked, let me meet your parents. That's not something I ever did.
Right. No, I mean, I can understand that. I can understand that. So, yeah, so those conflicts and lifestyles interests hit a few points on there. I think that is one that a lot of people don't think about. I've met women who like to go to strip clubs. I personally, that's not a thing for me. But that's
We should throw it on that. You ain't with it?
I, I'm really not. It's becoming so common now with the people who love both male and female. It's difficult to have discernment on that, but
I'm gonna tell you like
I
this,
would
right?
I wouldn't do it.
I'm only cool with a woman who goes to the strip club if she move how I move in the strip club. Let me tell you what I mean, right? When I go to the strip club, if I throw money, I'm picking up my same money and I'm gonna throw it down again. So if she can move like that, and you want to go watch some women dance, let's do it. But if she trying to throw the bag away, I'm like, no good, no good.
She's trying to throw the
Nipsey
bag
Hussle
away.
said
She
it
want
best.
private dances. She wants the
Nah,
all
nah,
of
nah.
that.
See, Nipsey said it best. He said, all money in, no money out. That been my philosophy before he ever said that. I've been doing that since back in my Old Dominion days. Throwing money, picking it right back up. So if she on that, then we could go to the strip club. If she ain't on that, I can't mess with you, man.
What if she like on that like the women like to be all up on the women?
Yeah,
That's her
I ain't with
the
my
double
girl
dipping.
like girls. I ain't with all that. I like my girl to like men and like me and want to be with me. You know, I ain't knocking what nobody else do, but that ain't my
Right.
thing.
All right, so we got another comment here. Let us know if you want to jump in too. Said you need to these parents don't babysit. Grandparents have forgotten their valued role.
That's because
Um,
grandparents is 33 years old in 2022.
I
They
would have to
young
say yes.
themselves.
Yes, I agree. We are not entitled. If we make children with somebody and that relationship doesn't work, our family members, we are not entitled to their free time. I've debated with a lot of people about that. It is a big struggle, but if you've had children and you wasn't married with somebody or you didn't have a structure or the marriage broke down, you people can support you when they're available and they're allowed to make that call. That is a struggle for a lot of people, but as you said, having children young, if your parents aren't retired, they still have to work a 9 to 5. They may, if they're single, they may still date. They still have to build for retirement and their future and maybe work overtime, work more than one job. So somebody's off time doesn't necessarily mean they're free and available. You got
So
to come home, do some
you
prep.
trying to say grandparents haven't forgotten their roles. Grandparents is just busy.
Grandparents are still living their life and they're not retired. If they're not retired, you really can't expect much. If your parents are still working a 9 to 5, you can't expect much because when you have a crap week at work, they could have had the same crap week. So if you want to get out and blow some steam on the weekend, you can't. They can't. They can't help you. They got to blow steam off. They got
I
stuff
ain't
to
gonna
do.
lie.
So.
When I was coming up, when I was growing up, grandmothers look a hell of a lot different than grandmothers do now. You got women that's 50, 60, 70 years old looking like Angela Bassett out here in these streets, looking like they can still get it. They can still get their groove back.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's a whole different environment, a whole different time, man. You know,
yeah.
yeah,
So
I think
that is so.
their roles have changed. You know, everybody had kids so young these days that even grandparents are still young, so they still running around living a good life.
Yeah, if somebody's having a kid at they had your mother, your father had you at anything under 20, you're going to be growing fast. You can have a kid and they're not retired. Do they got money in the bank stashed up? Probably not.
I
Had you
feel like
so young.
I feel like I'm
Yeah.
in the twilight zone, man. I'm almost 40 with two toddlers, a
Well,
toddler and an infant. Everybody
I,
else had kids in their early 20s, late teens, late 20s.
yeah.
I'm behind the ball, man.
I mean, but there's nothing wrong with that because you'll be able to play the role
Oh yeah, I'm in a
better than a
good
lot, I
spot.
think.
I'm in a good spot now.
Right.
I wouldn't have had it any differently,
No, I
but I'm
wouldn't
just
have had
saying in comparison
my
to most
daughter.
people, yeah, I'm behind the eight ball, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, and that's the whole thing. Your comparison is kind of backwards. You're not behind. You're in a spot where most people are in a financial stable position, a career stable position where they could afford to
Yeah,
have children because that is a big one. Children are not cheap. I was talking to a dude in my job who had a baby on the way before I left. I said my daughter was with insurance because when you're married, your deductible doubles. I said with insurance, and of course, first time mom, she wanted every test done. The mental disabilities, what's that, autism, all that stuff. So that they don't cover that insurance. My daughter, before she was born, was about $11,000 out of pocket before she came out on this planet.
it was
Okay,
cheaper. It was cheaper to have an at-home birth for me, man. That's a little
right.
ridiculous right there.
That I think my insurance was like $7,200 or $7,300 deductible at the time, right? So I didn't pay it full cash. I was making payments, no interest, right? But
Right.
yeah, it was about 11. And then new parent upfront cost. You remember I went and got a new vehicle. Kids don't even leave the house. So that increased my monthly payment went up about 120 bucks. Um, Her mom stopped working, so there's that loss of income. Her mom didn't work for the first year and a half. So I was doing ride share and stuff to compensate for the income. But then once her mom put her in daycare, the first daycare we put her in at a year and a half was $295 a week. And then we ended up finding another place that went down like I think we got down like $240 a week, not a month, a week.
I need those numbers right there, man. You come to where I live at, it's it's crazy.
I'll leave one. You want to share how much it is? Do you care to share how much the money is where you're located at for a week?
Bands on bands on bands. I'll just put it
To
like
buy
that.
to buy you a Land Rover, a Range Rover. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't imagine. So no, I get that. So
It's a mortgage
yeah,
note trying
yeah,
to
it
trying to
is.
pay for daycare and nannies and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so that is unfortunate. If we were all under the same roof, a lot of other cultures, people from different parts of the world come here, and they can have that balance because we're all on the same roof growing together. If we let our children stay at home, it's okay. Like I shared that post earlier about I don't want my children to hear from my trauma, and also another one I found where a woman shared this post, and she basically said, if money gets tight, come home. If the relationship goes sour, come home. If you can't make it in college, come home. And you good? I think
Let
that's
me let me let
important.
me drop out real quick and then come back because I got to get my
Okay.
charger.
All right, no
I'm gonna
problem.
drop out real quick and come back. Maybe
Yes, sir.
respond to some comments with Catch These Hands, or I'll be right back though.
Yeah, maybe see if she wants to get in real quick. No requests. Are you trying to hop on and join the fun? Let me know. You can have opinions. Opinions are important. Again, the topic is dating death traps. Hey, what's
Hey,
up? How
what's
are
up?
you?
Let me. Can you see me? Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Okay.
I can
Y'all
see you.
are a handful.
A handful, huh?
I
Why
don't
you
want
say
to
that?
jump on here and be the devil's advocate, but y'all,
You
y'all
can't. You
sound
can't be the
real
devil's
horrible.
advocate. We usually do have women on our other shows, but nobody's available tonight. It's a little later than we normally do, so yeah, no, feel free. I mean, yeah, the topic is dating debt traps, writing a check that you ask in cash, and that's just
Yeah,
we touched on a few different things.
the
So
things y'all touched on, it it was really biased to me a little bit.
I mean, yes, this is a
The
male
fact,
perspective. We do give a little bit of both, but it definitely is a male and female perspective. So at him, man, he's coming back in now.
okay,
So what are some of the things that you
that I
heard
heard. So
yeah, that you heard that kind of was mentioned?
my first comment when I said, "Oh, it's turning black." Okay, when I said that you're not supposed to learn from your partner
Hmm.
or something like that, I think you took what I said wrong.
Okay, you said you're not supposed to, or you are supposed to.
I'm saying you are supposed to, because typically you fall in love with your best friend, and your best friend is typically the person that's there with you through good and bad times. And although you want to learn things on your own, a partner should be there to help you, right? Unless it's
Yeah,
somebody who just don't want to take no shit and just like, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm out. Like your friend uh said a few times when he said that if she gains weight, oh, I'm out of here. If she like girls, I'm out of here. Like, what the fuck? If like she ain't going to the strip, if she ain't going to the strip club picking up money and throwing it back, I'm cool. I'm cool. But
so
that's somebody's livelihood. That's like me coming to your job, stealing your money and giving it back to you. That's retarded. I'm like, oh my God, do he really think like that, or he just want controversy for views? I was
let, let,
No,
really, I
that's
was
that's
really
that's really how I
confused.
think. That's really how I think.
Are you
Yeah,
married?
that's true.
Are you? She, my client. I'm doing hair at this time. My
Right.
client said, "Are you married?"
I am.
He is.
I figured because a man that has those type of things, you are only find
I'm only what?
things out of somebody, like the things
you
that he want
said
out of life.
a,
Like
a man that has those things is only what?
Say that again, because my phone was going black again.
I figured he was, because the things that he wants out of life, he's not gonna find in most women. So if
There
he
you
find
go.
him one, he better hold on to her, because a lot of women ain't. You can't say
Or
that in the
or she
generation
better
that we
hold
live,
on
that you're
to
living
me.
in
You
now.
know, it goes both ways.
Is there anything wrong with a man having
No, there is
requirements
absolutely
and
nothing wrong
standards?
with that. You
Right.
don't even have to finish that question. No, it's not, because the
Okay.
women also want things the way that they want things. So
Right.
how can a woman sit back and be upset at the way that a man wants his woman to be?
So
Right.
she's
Did you
not
know that?
upset. She's not upset with his views or anything like that. She just basically saying that
I don't
she
fit
just
his
giving
tax.
her opinion
I don't fit
on
his
his
tax
views.
bracket.
She just feel like
Because I
she's
like
not that
money.
woman.
I'm not picking that money back up. I don't care. I'm not about to throw no money and pick it back up.
Yeah, but you know,
That
here's
makes
the
If we
thing,
sense.
go
right?
to the
She
The
strip
took
club,
strip
it
club ain't for
personal. That's
everybody.
it.
So that's my personal thing. That's me joking around, being funny or what have you. But it ain't for me. I mean, if it's for you or somebody else, I don't knock what other people do. I mean, you know, get your money, however you do. I'm just saying that
So y'all in
I ain't with it.
agreement with that. So y'all are in
Yeah, I'm cool
agreement
with
with
that.
you letting
Listen,
other people do what they do, and
yeah, do your
she just
thing.
wanted to voice her opinion.
Yeah, I ain't mad about that. I'm just telling you that I'm a grimy dude, so I'm not gonna go in there because I know how I get down.
Hey, all right. No, I get it. Yeah. So where were we at? So we were talking about a few things. So yeah, that's our topic. So another part you mentioned that we heard about was with
go
the
sit.
parents, the
You walk
grandparents.
around with it.
Okay,
Um,
so yeah, and you touched on certain situations that can occur, far as the
mhm,
parents being young, far as the parents still having a 9 to 5 who didn't retire and stuff like that. But those those don't matter in my case because my mother, she's not working, she's up in age, she just don't babysit. And
Mm.
oh,
my daughter's dad's mother, she doesn't babysit. And it's not that I want to go out and do stuff because I'm a homebody. As you know, James, I'm Auntie Mimi. I'm
right,
in the house most of the time anyway. But
right.
those little times I do want to go relax and let my hair down, I can't.
Mm.
So it's like I gotta vet the next person I'm with to make sure their parents is on board with
And
me
then
being
another
tired
thing-
sometimes.
Another thing that I had an issue with was the fact that James said that I think that he can't be with nobody that has kids. But yeah, you have a child.
Oh,
Now-
his views on that.
Uh-oh, I
is
told you
away
was
from
gonna get
parents.
yourself in trouble.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, I explained why based on based on my dating
You said
experiences.
as far as about music. I was listening. You said as
There
far
was-
as about you don't let your child listen to rap music, and you
I got a
Mhm.
question.
and they
I got a
listen to
question
rap
when she
music
finished.
and things like that. But you have your preference on how you want your child to be raised. How can you sit there and judge somebody else about how they're raising their child?
Well, it's not judgment.
It is.
It's very-
Basically, that what he said was basically judging.
No, it's not judgment.
No. I'll explain, Shavar. Actually, it is a form of judgment, and that basically what it boils down to is that there is a certain code of conduct. I do co-parent well with my daughter's mother, and we have an established concepts of what we want to do, how we want to guide and grow with our child. And simply put, I don't think anything we're doing is heavily toxic or controlling. I am open to negotiation, but based on some of the
But the
parameters
way
we
you
have in
made
place.
it was like you were not open to negotiation because come on now, it's women out here that have kids. Who kids are? My son don't cuss or anything in that sort at all. I can't pay him to.
Mhm.
But my son likes different music.
Let me
And
say this.
When
once
it
you
comes
finish.
to my kid, it's hard for
Right.
me and a man. It's hard for me to date a man and I have a kid because I don't like people having that authorized or say so towards my child.
See,
So I know
that's already a
somebody
problem.
get bump heads at as far as me dating somebody and I have a child. But as far as the things that my child have learned and came across growing up, long as it's not disrespectful or affecting their lives in the wrong way, I don't feel there's no reason to have any issue with it.
Mhm.
So let me say this. Let me ask you a question, right? If you got a kid, right, and you date somebody with a kid, how much money do you plan to invest in that person's child? Are you gonna take care of bills for that child? Are you gonna
If me
take
and that
care of
person
activities?
If me and that person is in a long-term relationship, yes, I am willing to treat that child like I treat my own child.
So I don't.
What
I
I'm
don't have to
all right.
answer
Let me
that in the
rephrase
long
the
term.
question.
I don't gotta answer. Can I answer it first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So not in a long-term situation. I treat anybody's child the way I treat my child if I have them in my presence.
Fair enough. I don't mean treatment. That's not what I'm talking
No,
about.
that's-
I'm
specifically.
talking treatment. Treatment is
Spend money
everything.
on.
Like if I'm spending money on my child, if that child is with me, they're going to be splurged on. If
But
I'm
this is
taking
what
my-
I'm saying. If you date a man and y'all in a long-term relationship and y'all live together, do you expect him to contribute financially to the household?
Yes.
If he there,
If you're there, right? So if he live in the house, you
even
expect
if you
him.
only stopping through for a few hours in a day for a booty call or anything in that sort, you want to make sure that booty call comfortable. You better make sure this roof is comfortable.
Right. So that's what I'm getting at, right? If you with a man in a relationship or he just stopping through, you want him to provide financially.
If
Men
he just
don't.
stopping through, then no. But if we in a relationship, then yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we're speaking on relationship. Yeah.
We agree.
Cause
We speak on
Wait,
a
he
relationship. We agree. What I'm saying to you
I'm
is,
about to say, cause I like
as-
stop through. You don't need none of that extra shit. You
as a
just
man with a
make your
child,
kids.
as a man with children, let me say that. As a man with children, if I date somebody new, I'm not looking for them to contribute nothing to my child. But if I date a woman
I
with
don't
kids,
either.
she
And
is
that's
looking for me to
that
contribute
is the
something to
issue
the
that me
child.
and Black.
That's why
that's
he
the
don't
issue
want
me
to
and
date
Black
women
had.
with
That's short
children.
term.
That's
You
why.
didn't say short term. You said long term.
That's the issue me and Black had though. I mean, me and Sue had because he
You
didn't
don't
like
mention
the fact-
names. Me and one guy.
me
Right.
and-
Yeah. Don't mention. Yeah. No
do
mention.
that. Don't put him out there like that.
He wanted to provide for Jamari and step up for Jamari as if he was that father figure for Jamari. And that's not something me or Jamari is used to or comfortable with.
Let me ask
So
y'all a
that was
question,
where
right?
our issue came in at.
Let me ask y'all a question. I really want to hear y'all opinion. Are y'all aware that most men don't want to take care of another man's kid?
Yes.
And how do y'all feel about that?
That's not
That's
the
an
man for me.
That is it has to be to understanding because a lot of men feels like, no, I don't feel that I should have to have that type of say so over this man's child if this man is active in his child's life. That's gonna cause a reason for him and that child's father to clash and things and that sort. But no, that wouldn't be a man for me neither, because if you in my son's life, I need you to care for my son, respect my son the way I would do if it was your kid.
So I don't expect anything from a man that I'm not willing to provide myself. So with that being said, if like I said before, if that child is around me, I'm going to care for that child as if that child is my own. I don't care what this child background is. As long as you are willing to let me be in your child's life, I will contribute to your child's life.
So
And
I
vice
wanna
versa.
keep us focused on the question though. I want to keep us focused on the question.
I was about to finish.
Go ahead.
So I've literally dated a few guys who was like, oh, why do I have to do this, or I don't want to do that? I took on the burden of my sister kids, and I only have one child. Someone tried to come and just give my daughter gifts. I got more than one kid in my household. Don't bring that here because that's not fair. Oh, you got too much going on. That's fine. Go live your life. I got to handle what I got going on.
Yeah, I don't
Does
want to
that
make it.
answer
I
your
don't want to
question?
make it too personal to you. I'm just asking y'all in general
Oh,
if
I
y'all
thought it
are
was
aware of that.
personal opinions all over the board.
Nah, it's your personal opinion. I don't want to use your personal situation, is what I'm saying. Right? I'm just asking if y'all are aware of that and wanna know how y'all felt about that specifically. That you said, well, that's not the man for you. I'm just asking if you know a lot of men feel like that and aren't really interested in that, because I think your friend.
Most men, most
Hold on,
men,
hold
most
on, hold on,
men
hold
will
on,
tell you
hold
out
on.
their own mouth that they don't feel that they should have to provide for somebody else's child.
Right. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Your friend just said that she don't want somebody coming in telling her how to
No, that's
discipline their
not what
kid.
I said. That's
Did you
not what
say
I
you don't
said.
want somebody disciplining your kid?
No, I did not say that. I
Okay.
said it's not something that me and my kid is used to. My son's father isn't active in his life. So that is not something that I'm used to. That is something that I'm open to,
So if
but it's not
we
something
was
that I'm
dating
used to.
and we serious and we live together, I could discipline your kid if I thought he needed discipline.
It
What's
depends.
discipline?
I was about to say it depends on what your
It
definition of
was.
discipline is. If my son says, huh?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
It depends on what your level of discipline is. If
Okay.
my son does something that you feel that you should sit down and talk to him about because I'm not around, or you feel like you should send him to his room or anything like that, that's fine. But don't fuck my kid up.
Okay. What if you spank him without doing what you just said, without going to that extreme level?
What if he what?
What if you give a kid a spanking without going to the extreme where, you know,
If
you
my
just.
son do something to the fact that you have to pop my son, that's fine, because my son bad as shit. I
She just
understand that,
said,
but don't hurt my kid.
oh, that makes
So
sense.
she's saying discipline within reason.
Right.
Discipline,
Which I can
spanking,
agree
not
with.
abuse. Right. There's a line. There's a line, of course.
So
Understood.
that's all I was trying to get at. I'm cool with that, right? Like, I think that's a fair balance. If you ask a man to take on the responsibility of someone
Especially if I'm
else's
allowing
kid,
you to come in my house. If I'm allowing you to come in my house and pay all these bills and take care of all this shit, why would I sit there and let my child not be able to listen to you?
well, I mean, some women don't. I'm just getting your personal perspective, but some women don't.
Yeah, that is a big common thing, and that was one of my points that I had mentioned of why I have chosen not to keep or continue talking to somebody with children, because after having discussions, spending time with them, talking about their established and how they operate with their child, basically I don't get any say so, I don't get any powerful, but of course I'm expected to contribute, take care of the household, take care of that child. That's what you would want if we were to move forward. These are, this basic dating talking points. What are you looking for long term? What do you want to see of us? We're together 5 years, married, live together. What are some expectations, codes of conduct,
And we've been
standards
living
that you
together
want?
for 5 years. You better whoop his ass if he disrespects you. Cause I know damn
No,
well
right, but I'm
your
saying,
daughter ass, she come here on that loud ass shit, and we've been living together 5 years. You got me
but I'm saying is those are preliminary discussions. Well, I'm not at 5 years. We've gotten serious. We've been at it for 3-4 months, and I started talking to you about. I'm feeling you, and I started talking about more serious, deeper, intimate conversations. So I want to know, what do you want? What are your expectations? What are your standards in a relationship? And that's why I typically find out that a lot of women just want the support, the finances, and that backing of a man, but I don't get any extra say so or pull in the household with their child. So that's where the conflicts come into. And as I mentioned, some upbringing, some
So what
child
are the
raising.
extras that you want to contribute to the household?
I mean, for
Because
example,
everything you said was true with the support, the
right.
backing, and stuff like that. Um, what other things will a man provide that you feel like women don't want or need nowadays?
It ain't that they don't want or need. It's just, as you mentioned, with the disciplinary, she's probably one of the few people who I've heard would
It
be
doesn't
okay with
matter.
the
Play
man
you came up here to play.
disciplining the child when she's not
Sorry.
around and actually doing physical spankings. A lot of women say, you got to go through me. Don't touch my child. Don't say nothing to my child. You have to talk to me. And I have seen it. I have had relatives and friends who I've been in their homes and seen the child acting up, and the man can't say a thing. He has to basically check, hey, your daughter's doing this. Can you go talk to him? Okay, I will. Or they call. Hey, your son's in here acting up. I asked him to stop. You won't do it. I'll handle it when I get home. I've seen men doing that, and that's like, you got a child that's basically don't have to respect you, don't got to listen to you, but you're in here paying these bills, providing for this house and his family, but that child don't have to. You don't count to that child. You're just a body. You don't have any say so, any rent.
So
I've
that
seen that
sounds like
firsthand.
a woman who's not comfortable with the man that she left her kid with.
Right, but why would you move? And that's the whole thing. Why would you even move in and
Because
have
you were a
combined
great
funds?
provider, you were a great supporter,
And you were convenient.
and you made it easy
That's
for
that death
her
trap.
to do what she needed to do.
Yeah, and that
That's
right
that
there, and
death
that's
trap.
yeah, and that's the thing where that is the thing. There are guys who give too much, too soon, too fast, and don't have these real conversations. And
They need to
when
be here so we can thicken their
Where they
skin.
at? Cause I want one.
yeah, well, what do they call those guys nowadays? Sips, who just sit up and take
Ain't that
whatever they
funny as fuck? Cause I just texted a nigga and just said that.
You cold?
really.
You cold on one?
No, I just told him he treat me like a simp.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
But
he
I
treats
just
you
said
like
that
one.
same shit. Like, oh, you keep treating me like a simp, huh, bitch?
Mm.
I ain't gonna hold you.
I ain't never heard
And
that
so
of a female, son.
that's and so that's really what it boils down to. I'm open to it. I have dated women with children, but when I get to the logistics, the codes of conducts, their future plans and visions, we don't align, and that's where I bid you a day, and you go your way, and I go mine. It's just that simple.
So
I
let
don't
me
get
ask
paid.
y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think it's a such thing as too many kids for a man to come in and take on all of that responsibility? Like let's say a hypothetical woman got 5 kids, but I only wanted 3 kids maybe. So she already got her 5.
Mama got 9 kids.
Huh?
I don't know. She's taking it left. I think that's preference. That's personal preference. That's a personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
It is a such thing.
Because that's scary. Yo, that's scary to all of the guys I know. You got 3, 4, 5 kids. You like the boogeyman out here.
But you're not about to keep walking around here following nobody.
Sometimes one kid is too much for men to handle too.
Yeah, if they not disciplined, then yeah, I mean, you're right. That's true. That's true.
Because I only got one child, and it was too much for somebody to handle.
Yeah,
Maybe
I told
because
you.
I'm too much with my daughter. Me and my daughter are glued at the hip, so I'm probably too much with my daughter. I can see that.
Okay.
So if that's something that you can see,
I don't think there is such
if
thing
you
as
think
too
there's a
much.
bit of an imbalance with that, do you think it matters, or is there a level of self-awareness where you would try to make some tweaks and adjustments so a man would find that situation more inviting to be in, or
I
you know?
have when I felt the man was worth it. When I don't feel the man is worth it, I don't move differently.
I have. Yep, that's my same answer.
Only when it's a personal preference. So when I feel like it's worth it, I make the adjustment. Like that saying say, you make time for people you want to. That's how I do.
Okay. Okay. So, but if I had a common issue, let's say women were constantly telling me I was being too abrasive when having discussions, when dating, when asking questions, would it be worthwhile for me to tone that down as my overall day to day
What are
versus
you
having to
getting
wait
from that
until?
woman?
Huh?
What are you getting in return from that woman for you to make the adjustment?
No, I'm saying I've been casually dating, and let's say I've had 4 women back to back tell me you're a little abrasive and aggressive when you have discussions. Is that worth me taking into consideration? Because I've had 4 women from different walks of life tell me the same thing about my mannerisms. Is that worth making that adjustment so the fifth woman who comes into my life that I start dating would not see that? Well, that's what I'm asking you. If somebody, you have a consistent track record, hey, you got a bit of a habit when it comes to dating that isn't really as counterproductive to you want in a relationship. Should I adjust ahead of time so therefore I'm not showing and projecting that anymore?
Are those women who's telling you you're that type of man the type of woman you want to be with?
Let's say yes. Yes, they are.
If yes, is it worth for you to change yourself for that?
See, it's like you're trying to, I'm not saying it's, those women have said that, right? It's not about me worth changing. Is it possible that the way we are living regularly that could be bad because we're single? You want to get into a committed relationship. Let's say I've been single for a year, right? I get back on the dating market and I'm getting told I'm aggressive and abrasive. Should I change that as an overall person to be more inviting to when I'm out talking to women? If I'm consistently hearing something that's negative, should I remove that negativity from my characteristics to have a better outcome?
It's not
You understand that?
It sounds more personal. It's like your friend was just on here saying that you have to do some self-reflection. You have to learn yourself and know what you like and know what you want. You have to do some self-reflection on your own. You have to know, am I happiest when I'm this person that they want me to be, or am I happiest when I'm the person that I want to be? So you have to do that on your own. I can't tell you it's good or bad, because I might not be the woman that wants you either way. I can tell you we get to change and nitpick at the shit that you're doing and da 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 da. You just might be that. You might just be that perfect person for the person who wants you.
Okay.
Nitpicking at you, and it's like we're gonna fit if we're meant to fit.
Okay.
The shit that you do not gonna aggravate me because we fit. I want you for who you are. If I'm constantly telling you to change, that means it's something about you I really don't like. This is not where I want to be at. So
you don't think too?
Self-reflection, whether whatever they said is coming from a place of aggravation, needy, they want you, or what have you. But ultimately, it's a personal choice.
Okay.
I can't tell you whether it's good for you to walk away or not.
Okay, I could see that point. That does make sense. But if we are dating 2 single people who've been living their own life, been doing what works for them, what makes them happy, let's take out the word change. 'Cause I know that some words are triggering and very powerful. If me and you were trying to make something work, would we need to make some tweaks and adjustments so we are more cohesive and fluid? Do you believe in that? Tweaks and adjustments.
That's the compromise area. Because I like you so much, I'm a compromise. If you do something that I really don't like, but I like you that much, it don't bother me, we gonna compromise that. That you're good doing whatever you're doing because I don't mind it. Because I'd rather be with who you are and not what you are doing. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but if you get annoyed with me, I'll use a perfect example. I'll put the dishes in the sink, but I don't rinse the food off. And if you've constantly come home and say, hey, you ain't got to do the dishes, but you got to rinse it off because there's an odor. And that keeps happening. I'm good to you, but I'm leaving an odor and making the kitchen and the living room stink with food.
I think they won't leave an odor.
Should I tweak that to make our house more cohesive?
She started talking over you. I didn't hear everything you said.
Okay, here's an issue. This is something I used to do at my own place, but we moved together, right? I don't rinse the dishes off when I put them in the sink. That food residue creates an odor, and when you come in the house, it stinks. You now that's not a massive change. That's a tweak. Is it okay? Does it make sense for you to address that to me? And I say, you know what? I
That's
understand
not
that
a
point.
that's not a personality trait. That is just something that you should fucking do.
But hey, you can say that, but here's the thing. You have lived single by yourself. I have lived single by myself. What I do didn't bother me. Come on, dang, that it stink. Let me just do the dishes. But you come home, you like, it smells awful. Why do you keep here's a cause and here's an effective way to fix it. So I'm saying
Do
tweaks
you
and
like me
adjustments.
enough to fix it? Or you just gonna keep irritating me?
So let me
I'm
ask y'all
saying
this:
it's
Is
a change.
anybody else in here married? Is anybody else married? Either one of y'all
No.
married?
No.
Because I could tell you, as somebody that been married for a few years, that's bullshit what y'all saying right now. Because there's a lot of shit you gonna do in marriage, the other person is gonna do that you ain't gonna like, that's gonna get on your nerves. And some things you just have to accept as a part of living with
Because of
somebody
what?
else.
Why do you have to accept it?
That's a part of the relationship.
Because that's the person.
That's
part.
what I said.
I'm not
literally
disagreeing
said,
with you. I'm just telling you that as
Okay.
somebody
that we
in
were
this
wrong, but I
situation,
literally just said that to him. I said, the shit that you do that's gonna aggravate me, I'm gonna tolerate it because I like who you are. I'm not ready to walk away from who you are.
yeah, that's a fact.
Okay, okay, I can. That's a good one. Tolerating things because it's not that big of a deal. Basically, it's not nothing worth
Not
sweating and making.
everything.
Bro, I'm
Not
gonna tell you
everything.
like this. My wife leave cups everywhere, right? That shit drive me crazy. Like it put that shit in the sink, right? But at a certain point, you just accept it like, yo, that's something that you do. You know what I mean? And you keep moving with it. You don't let it hang you up.
Kylie, get your
Okay,
paper by daddy.
okay, you're part. Okay, that's a good one.
Somebody said I look good in the comments. I appreciate you.
That's a good one.
They was
I
talking
never
about
thought
me.
about.
I'm just joking.
That's a good one. I never thought about it like that. It does make sense that you can't. Everything ain't gonna be perfect, and sometimes
Yeah.
it is what it is. You know, I used to travel for work with my ex, and after being on the road for a week and a half, 2 weeks, I might come off and leave everything at the door. Go home, go upstairs, shower, pass out. As my whole luggage is on the floor, obviously because I was on the road, I pulled out a change of clothes, the bags open, my boots open, my dirty clothes in the living room, and I'm upstairs passed out. She come home from work, why's your shit in the door? And it was a consistent thing that I just couldn't stop doing because I just get home and I'm here to release everything, the dirty clothes, the long week, the long work weeks, all of that. And then I came back. So, yeah, it's a thing. So I see the point because that definitely caused conflict that I'm like, I don't do it intentionally, but damn it, give me a break. So, I get it. That's a good one though. I really like that.
Is he
I
okay?
really
Why
didn't
he
like
keep
that.
leaving?
I don't know. His phone wasn't fully charged, and when phones be dead, you trying to use video options. They definitely act up. But more I get that.
Cause
So
you not doing shit. You keep
I
trying to
was.
How you doing in all the places?
you got one hand that's split in half. You skilled. I see. One of the other parts, did you hear the part we talking about people being deceptive and misleading when they're
Yeah.
initially
No,
getting in?
Say that
Huh?
one more time.
Did you hear the part about people being deceptive and misleading when they're not being their genuine self? Like what we talked about that, but
Yeah,
what do you
I
think?
really hate that.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
Jamari.
I meet a guy, right?
Right.
Cause all her stuff right there.
I meet a guy. Most of my friends had the same story. They meet a guy, they have a baby by this guy. After they have a baby by this guy, people are yelling, "Oh, you knew who you slept with, and you knew this, and you knew that." But at the same time, they only knew what that man showed them. Whatever facade that man put on is the facade that that woman knows. And when we are so in this trance of, oh, he's this and he's that and he's this and he's that, and then you have a baby and he flipped the script, and you're looking stupid like, oh, you chose him, you picked him, you did this and you did that. But at the end of the day, that's not who I picked. That's not who I chose. That's ridiculous. And even in a regular relationship, you will start off with somebody, especially a male, and they'll put on this whole facade, catering to you, doing everything you want them to do. And then y'all good for a whole year. And then he starts slowly changing, becoming who he actually is. And we're sitting here taking all of the stupidity, all of the negative backlash, and all of the probably cheating or deceiving, his lies and stuff like that, because in our heads, we know what he's capable of, and he's going to get back to that person as long as I try to stay on the right path and do what he want me to do and do all this extra bullshit. So I hate that type of person. I got so many stories on so many of that type of person. It's ridiculous.
But you have not, you have not had a child. I'm not going to get into your personal stuff. So these other people that you know of or other experiences that you've heard, are people simply not taking enough time for people to get out of the honeymoon phase and get into a natural state? Because just like a job interview, you're not going to go to job interview talking about, some days I come in, I ain't feeling it. Y'all can get 50% of that work. We all put our best foot forward because essentially we're trying to present and pitch ourselves to another person that we're being with. Then that does fizzle down eventually, and there is a level.
I don't think my generation know how to date. That sums it all up there. I feel like we had bad role models. I'm not going to just say parents because there's more than just our parents.
Uncles, teachers,
It was not because it all was based off of our parents. Our parents, neither one of our parents was in a household where we seen them being married or showed how to treat a man or treat a woman. So therefore, that relies on our parents. None of our parents showed us none of that. So how do we expect to know any of that?
So I feel like we typically don't know how to date because of our role models in general, but specifically she's saying our parents, because most of us didn't grow up in a household where we saw what love looked like, or we know how to treat a man or how a man should treat you and stuff like that.
I got a question about that.
Okay.
If y'all could paint y'all ideal picture of what dating looks like, what would that look like?
I don't know what that would look like. Let me think about it, because this wine here too.
Yeah, ain't no wrong answer. I'm just curious to know what that looks like in the ideal world.
So I only know my fairy tales. I love my fairy tales. So it's the pick me up, make sure I don't touch a door, fit the bill, make good conversation, be polite, be a gentleman.
I love a man that can lead.
That's the first date, okay.
I like that.
I love a man because that's my issue. I can't find a man that can lead me. I have a smart mouth. I have a bad attitude, like a strong personality. Yeah, and I am very masculine, even though I'm very feminine. I am a very masculine woman.
I agree with that.
It's hard for me to find a man that can lead me.
All right, so we was talking about leadership the other day. He and I, we had a panel of people. We were talking about leadership. What does leadership mean to you? A man that can lead is somebody that can do what specifically?
In my eyes, a man that can lead is a man that knows what he wants and knows what he feels is best for me. So in the midst of, if we out business-wise and you understand something better than I understand it, I would want you to go ahead and let me know, like, no, that's not what I feel the situation should be about. Break it down to me on what you feel and why you feel that fits. I also like a man that can call me randomly and be like, babe, I'm feeling spontaneous. Get dressed so we can go out. Shit like that. Like, men don't do that no more.
let me ask you this. Do you consider leadership a man that sets a budget, that manages the finances well, that invests, that
No,
puts
because
you
I
in a
fit my
home?
own bill.
Huh?
No, I do not, because I fit my own bill. I love to work.
No, no, no. I don't. I'm not saying if you love to or not. I'm asking you, do you consider that a part of a man's leadership?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I done fuck with some of the worst niggas in the world. You'd be surprised. It's not about how much money you got that makes who you are.
I can agree to that.
Cause I done slept on air mattresses with niggas who got mindsets of billionaires but don't know how to use it.
So, what is leadership specifically for him? Like, what actions equate to good leadership or bad leadership?
He didn't fit that leadership. That
He
was
want
the
to
issue.
understand your leadership.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my leadership is a man that knows what to do. A man that knows the best fit to go about life, and a man that is not afraid to step up and be forward with his opinion on what should be going on. Not no man that just sit back and allow me to walk over him and allow me to, hey babe, can you do this? No, damn well I can do it myself. But you're gonna do it because I asked. No, like, if you know I can do it myself, then let me know. Like, look, I'm not about to stop what I'm doing and go do that. You can go do that when you get done doing what you're doing. What you're doing ain't even that mandatory. Like, know how to make your woman feel safe and secure.
If financial stability wouldn't be a safety and security for a woman, not having to worry about paying bills.
Not from a woman. Like, no.
She's not.
That
She's
would be
saying
a
not
bonus.
from an independent woman.
That would be a bonus for me,
She
because I love
already
being a
said
single
that she's
mother.
very masculine in that role, and she's trying to find somebody who can make her feel like she don't have to. So let me try to clear it up, because I get what you're trying to say. If you already coming in the thing knowing that I take care of this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and I'm any problem that come aboard, I can handle it. Any situation, I can handle it. If we're in a conflict somewhere, I'm gonna solve that problem. I'm the problem solver, whether it's financially, emotionally, anything of the sort. So she's saying, even though you coming in the picture and you knowing I can do it myself, don't give me the obligation to have to. Let me feel comfortable enough to relax a little bit so that you can take the lead sometimes, not all the time, because I feel safe in that place of leadership. But you're man enough to come in and be like, you don't got to do this. I got you. Just
So
know
can
if
I
you
say
can't,
something that
I
might
will.
offend you? But I think it's the way men think. It might be offensive. It might sound offensive, but
We're here to learn. I'm
yeah,
open.
it's about being honest about your side and us being honest about our side, and hopefully we can learn something from each other.
Yeah.
What you just described to me is the kind of woman that a man who's masculine ain't gonna take seriously, because I don't want to date another man. I want to date a woman.
Right.
The reason why I asked about leadership is because I know a lot of people who are not in the black community that are considered the leaders of their homes. They make mistakes, they fuck up money, they don't always do things the right way, but they still given the respect as men to lead in their houses. And in our households, when it comes to a lot of male-female relationships with black people, men are not being put in a position where we can fully lead without being undermined. Now, that's one thing. The second thing I'm gonna say is, what you sound like you describing is, you need a woman, not a man. Because the things that y'all want from a man is not things that men are typically.
So
I mean, that's not things that we do.
So listen to what I'm saying.
All
I
right.
just said I want the man to be able to step in and let me know I don't have to.
Sure.
I do everything that I do because I have to. I haven't ran into somebody where I feel like, oh my God, I feel so safe and secure in your arms that I don't got to worry about me getting up to get these kids ready for school. I don't got to worry about me catching a flat tire and trying to call somebody to come fix my tire. I don't have to worry about none of that until I feel comfortable enough to just be like, oh my God, thank you. I can get some rest. Oh, you seen me standing on my feet all day working. I don't gotta cook. Oh my God, that is amazing for me. And the littlest things put me on a fucking pedestal. You don't even understand.
Right.
But it's just like
That's what anyone.
it's if I want a man to lead, I will want him to make me feel safe and secure enough to let him handle whatever situation comes around. If I don't feel like you are strong enough to lead me in that way, I don't feel like it's okay for me.
But that's a perfect point that you just made, right? Because I think that's exactly what we're battling.
Right.
We have to deal with, if you don't feel like it, you're going to undermine us.
Right. I get that.
Right? And no man wants to deal with that. That's why I think a lot of dudes have a lot of issues in their relationships from the male perspective. Now, from the woman's perspective, there might be a whole nother set of problems that we are creating. But I'm saying that creates a problem for men when we're in position where we got to try to earn that position. Most men are naturally inclined to lead. Whether they're good leaders or bad leaders is another story, but no man wants to be put in a position where he ain't the leader. He got to be undermined or second guessed. I also want to offer a different word to you, because you said the word independent. I want to offer the word interdependent. Interdependent means that you could do all of the stuff that you talked about doing, but you can also work with somebody and do things together as a unit. I think that word right there is strong and independent. It really don't foster positive relationships with the other side.
Yeah, and just touch on that, because if you think about it, we're both adults.
Wait, I don't want. Wait, sorry.
Yeah, read the comment.
I was reading the comment. Somebody said if a woman looked for a man to lead all the time, it would eventually turn into, what is that?
Argumentative, I guess.
Decisions.
Okay, decisions making on and off basis that then, what is
That
that?
deteriorate the relationship.
So he's saying I think he's saying what I said about, having to go back and forth about decisions and being undermined in the things that you're saying. That's what I think he's saying. I don't know. He can speak for himself.
You're not helping blow dry me.
So here's what I was going to say about being independent as a man and a woman. As adults, we should be coming with some basics and some basic standard codes of conduct and operation, okay? You live on your own, I live on my own. You have your own apartment or house, I have my own apartment or house. So therefore, you should be operating you should be a normal operating independent adult. So if two people come together combined, it shouldn't be this war or this battle of I have to prove myself to be able to be led, because I have a track record just as balanced and even as yours, where I work, I take care of myself, I take care of my bills, and I got things going on. It shows that I'm not just a normal guy fumbling the bag. I got a good career going, money stable, this, that, and the third. So if we're coming together, it should be understood that I can lead because I've been taking care of myself, and I'm trying to get you on board so we can grow and build and get to the next level. So what is the conflict where this I'm independent, don't need another partner, when that's really not the case? You understand what I'm saying?
I don't think a woman typically wants to be alone. I think me personally, I'm open to compromise, but I gotta be like, the trust fall exercise, where you have to trust that person in order for you to fall. If I'm not trusting you before I let this 250-pound body drop, I'm not about to put myself in any position to hurt myself like that. That's just setting myself up for failure. If I don't trust you, I'm not going to trust you. And yes, I'm going to try to make you or allow you to earn that trust from me.
As my track record and the life I've built, and I'm trying to I've shown you, you see what I'm doing, you see my career, is that not something that can be trusted in itself? Because you want a man to lead you, right? A leader has to have something established to show that he's a leader. I can't say I want to lead you and I'm living on my
That's
cousin's couch and
that's
I don't
one
make no money.
component.
Of course, there's one component, but
I
is
have
there
to be
some?
a. I have is law of attraction has to play a
Of course,
role.
of course,
Leadership has to play a role, of course. And with their leadership have like 5 umbrellas of its own. It's
of
like
course.
you can't force when you force something that you typically don't want to happen, it's never going to end in a success. Something's
Okay.
always going to frustrate you. Like I've talked to somebody that I get frustrated with on a daily basis. I know I can't be with you because I'm too frustrated. This is not happy for
Right.
me. I don't care what you bring to the table. If I'm not feeling like I want to be here, I'm not going to be here. That's a personal choice. I
Makes sense.
don't have to be. I don't have to let you try to change for me. I don't have to let you do any of that. It's if I want to be there, I'm going to be there. If I don't, I'm not. Whether it's if you're benefiting me financially and I'm just sitting and let you pay for everything and do everything, but I'm not attracted to you. I don't want to be with you. It just don't work for me.
No, I understand that. No, I understand that, but yeah. So I can see your point there. It definitely has to be a flow. There has to be something cohesive outside of what I'm offering and what I'm bringing to the table. We're both two adults with good careers, so we bring to the table. We're kind of evenly yoked at that. You're stable, career, working, doing what you're doing, saving money. I'm doing the same. So I understand that. What else do I prove that shows? Do I have a vision for the future? Do I have a 5-10 year plan? How do I want to lay out the marriage? How do I want to lay out future investments, rental properties, Airbnbs, whatever, so all those things are encompassed in the leader. How do I treat you and respect you as far as when there's decisions to be made in the household, decisions to be made on the children? Are we having clear, open discussions, or am I undermining you and doing whatever I want? So that's good. Defining leadership. I definitely can see how that could be an issue for people. Defining leadership. I always take notes with the lives. You got to make sure you got something to go back on. Is there anything, as far as your perspective from a woman, your dating experience that are some clear dating death traps that you ran into? I know you definitely mentioned about men being deceptive and playing a role for up to a year, and then not you in particular, but friends and associates getting pregnant, and this guy completely flips the script. So, is there anything in your personal side from the female's perspective of some real dating death traps and things that you've seen men do that are just, setting a woman up for failure?
I don't know. I gotta think about it.
Don't touch that plug.
Yeah, think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that. So yeah, I think we've hit some really good points tonight for our discussion.
And I probably gotta go because my phone about to die on you.
Okay. Well, you got any closing remarks in before you go, as far as the subject, real quick?
Use condoms. Be safe out there.
Hey, that's good. That's a good one. I appreciate it. All righty then. Take care. Is anybody else interested in joining in before I end up ending and putting in their 2 cents? I know a couple people were in the comments saying a few things. Co-host had to drop out. It's late. Things are going on. Not a big deal. Well, I guess I'll close it out here. Today we talked about dating death traps, writing a check to Jazz King Cash. So the points we hit on is, you being a common denominator with the people you date, not changing and not making adjustments. Another few points we hit on is people being deceptive and misleading when you're dating them, and that can obviously definitely become a death trap with them. Financial alignments, child rearing alignments, if you both have children from previous relationships, those things not aligning, conflicts of interest and lifestyle, just overall how you see things and how you want to go about your life, your future relationships. Those can be potential death traps, but really that's just something you should be able to discuss and come to the conclusion that, hey, this isn't going to work out, so we got to keep it moving. So me moving ahead, going forward, my closing remarks, it can be difficult. it can really be difficult dating people because there's a lot of insecurities out here. There's a lot about bad parenting and upbringing out here, and it makes a lot of people have a lot of twisted, toxic perspectives on how they're supposed to operate relationships, and they do a lot of things that are very counterproductive to growth, building, and sustainability long term. So I would say take your time, get to know people, and really find out, take the time to figure out what do you really want in your relationship? What do you really want out of a partner? Write it down and have discussions with people about it. And then when you start talking to people, be honest and be straightforward about it. So that way you don't have to spend a lot of time dating somebody and it's not conducive to what you want. It's not conducive to where you're trying to go, what you're trying to build towards, because people ride the surface. That is a real thing. People will be in relationships, ride the surface, end up marrying each other 3-4 years down the line and find out the man or the woman didn't want kids. A simple discussion that wasn't even ever brought up. So there needs to be some real research, some real development. And I also lastly recommend couples coaches in therapy. I think before anybody gets married, they really should go and try to dive deep into some real subjects and topics and talk to a professional that can help uncover or discover some mannerisms and behaviors in you guys that may not be helping you grow, that can easily be fixed. So look at all those things, look at all those perspectives, and I wish you all a good night. Be blessed and take care.